it is my honor and distinct pleasure to present the IAC Activism Award to two true American heroes. They are parents who suffered the ultimate loss, but they channeled their energy to attain justice for victims of terror. They've played an instrumental role in ensuring that the United States holds the Palestinian Authority accountable for its abhorrent pay-to-slay policy. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Robbi and Mr. Stuart Force.
Thank you so much. We will treasure this award. And I have to admit that we know that the only reason that we two are on stage this morning is because there's not enough room up here for everybody that contributed to this effort. So we are standing in for individuals, groups, organizations, senators, congressmen, everyone that realized that what is going on with this pay-for-slay program where innocent Israelis and their invited guests are being senselessly injured, murdered, their lives ended too soon. I'd like to mention just a couple names quickly that were instrumental in the actual legislation. The first person that acquainted us with this horrific practice of paying terrorists was Mr. Sander Gerber. Sander lives in New York City. He's involved in the financial world, successful CEO, CIO of a Harbor Bay Capital hedge fund. Also, he is very active in improving relations, keeping strong ties between Israel and the United States, and also he's active in the Jewish community throughout the United States. He first sent us an email that showed a video of the Palestinians celebrating the night that our son was taken from us. They were also celebrating the proclamation of his murderer as a hero of Palestinian youth. We were appalled and disgusted. The second attachment to that email was a PDF of the actual laws that provide the payments for the terrorists. Sander asked if there was any questions to give him a call. I called him. Next thing I know, I'm speaking to our U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, who is a good friend of Sanders. Shortly after that, Robbi and I found ourselves in Washington, D.C., standing behind a podium at a press conference announcing the introduction of the Taylor Force Act. It was an overwhelming, emotional experience. Shortly after that, the election of 2016 happened, and everything but the election was pushed to the wayside. Consequently, after the inauguration, things settled down a little bit. Not that they have ever completely settled down. But there was a second press conference where Congressman Doug Lamborn introduced parallel legislation in Colorado, parallel legislation in the House. So after many months, almost a year, the legislation was passed and it became the law of the land. Sander, Congressman Lamborn, Senator Graham did all the heavy lifting there. They and their staff wrote the legislation, arranged meetings for Robbi and I. I kid everybody that our role was similar to the Girl Scouts in their cookie drive. When a Girl Scout shows up at your door, the cookie drive, you're going to answer the door and you're going to talk to her. And whether you're on a diet or you don't like sweets, you're going to buy the cookies. When they set up the meetings for us with senators and congressmen, and we told them about Taylor and asked for their support in the legislation, we received their support. Our whole focus was to make it clear that this is bipartisan. This isn't a left versus right, a Democrat versus Republican. It's a right versus wrong issue. It needs to stop. People should not be being paid for hurting other innocent people. So Robbi and I have appeared at several functions, conventions, spoke in synagogues, churches, asking for support. The IAC was one of the earliest and strongest supporters of the Taylor Force Act. And so I am thanking you, we are thanking you for everything that you have done. It wasn't Robbi or I, it wasn't the senators, it was you that came across, you made your phone calls, you sent your emails, you made your personal contacts with your legislators, and that's what it took to get the votes to overwhelmingly support the Taylor Force Act. People ask us also where we got the strength to do what we did. And we didn't find the strength, you gave it to us. You welcomed us into your community. Your show of support from the beginning, your letters, your personal notes, your encouragement made all the difference to us. And I humbly thank you. I have to tell you one story. One of the earliest opportunities that I had to address a group of people, it was in a synagogue in Scarsdale, New York. And I mentioned that when we returned from services after we lost Taylor, we went to Lubbock, Texas, where he grew up, Nashville, Tennessee, where he was a first-year MBA student at Vanderbilt. And we returned home, and the post office delivered trays and trays of mail. And we went through, we recognized some of the addresses as people that we had worked with, friends of the family, friends of Taylor, and our daughter, Kristen. And there was a large, actually overwhelming amount of letters and cards from addresses all over the world, particularly Israel and the United States, of people that we had never met and never run across. It was the Jewish community showing us their support, and I mentioned that at this talk. So afterwards, we were having dessert, coffee, and a lady from the audience came up, and I said I meant what I said about the support that we'd received. It kept us going. And she goes, Stuart, she put her hand on my arm. She said, Stuart, we've been doing this a long, long time, and we're very good at it. And she was right. You are really good at supporting people when they really need it. I thank you for this honor. We will forever remember this day. Thank you very much. Want to say something? Say thank you. Wait.
I just want to say thank you for having us. We're honored to be here with you. Thank you.